So when it says go live, I'll hit the music.
This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com. You are the only participant in the conference.
Let's get it.
Solve that problem.
Let's see. Turn on. Support and reach. I know what it is, man. You're now tuned in to the Hodge Podge Sports Show with a picks on target sharper than cat in the 17 with a crossbow before you place a bet. Let's check with Patrick and Sean first. Unless your aim is that, I'll leave your eyes. Check the source right here. Forget the mother stations, we got you covered. Don't waste your time. Ain't no need to straddle the fence. Now you can take a side of competition with it. If you in opposition, just listen. It will change your mind. So you catch him right here. And every show a banger like Ray Lewis at the quarterback. I don't perform, you gotta stop it, but will it trust it? God, don't come on here talking that nonsense and don't know nothing. No hesitation, get put in your place. End the discussion. No shit can go over here, keep it 100. Got a question? We can come with the answer like ours. If you ain't know then, you know now just what time it is. Sean, repping the city you brotherly love. And Super Bowl 52 champions. Baltimore in the building, make some noise for his back. Got Charm City on his back, putting on for the night. Cal Ripkins on your back with the Orioles. And he's smoking down the dollar. Let's go. His knowledge from his college. Let's go. Follow us. Shout out to you. Without them to say possible. Rock with us, we rock with you. I love us, I love you. Much love the fan base and follow the damn kids. Just keep it in sports talk. Cover the family. Having to be more. Get you a crab cake. Going Philly say let's crack your cheesecake. Now run and tell the sports fanatics that you know online. Tune in every weekend when we going live.
Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. Seems like we've been gone for a minute.
When we going live.
Got a hot show tonight.
I know what time it is.
DeShaun Watson,
HPS.
Ben Simmons, Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's go.
Passion ain't no better place to let it out than right here on HPS, where we never stop.
We never stop. Let's get it. Woo! Feels good to be back. What's up, Sean James Harrison?
What's up? What's up? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm all right. I'm all right here in the Charm City. Patrick Hodge, Sean James Harrison, Philadelphia, PA. Hodge Podge Sports Show presented by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app. Pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Ooh, that's a good way to lean in because we got a lot to talk about tonight about how we placing orders. We gonna talk about the man that has the best fourth quarter offense in the NBA on 2K, Ben Simmons. We're going to talk Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning, how they just circumvented the cap situation. We're going to talk NBA playoffs. I do believe it's going to be CP3's year. That's just a beautiful story in the making out there. And then anything else we can think of, we're going to talk about. But, you know, I want to go into this right here. And I said this to you probably, and I put it in the topics for tonight. And this is a great question. And I'm going to have to put it up on the screen for our viewers. And whoever's out there listening to us and watching with us, we sure do appreciate you. Give us a call, 712-770-4160. Our PIN is 576041. We are live streaming through our Facebook group, our Twitch channel, and our YouTube channel. So any platform, please get in where you fit in. DeShaun Watson. Can we talk about DeShaun Watson for a second? Can we just talk about how the NFL has not done anything with this situation at all, but other people are getting transgressions? Like, you know, you're seeing across the wire, right? So-and-so suspended 6 games for violating the substance abuse policy. So-and-so, you know, is getting arrested for having an Uzi or, you know, a Tech 9 in his car, whatever. Punishment's going to come down. But this man has over 20-something complaints. Nothing has happened yet. Now, I understand we do live in a country where we are innocent till proven guilty, and that's all well and good. You know, he is due his due process, as well as the victims or the alleged victims. But my question is, why hasn't this young man been put on the NFL commissioner's exempt list? Right? Why is it that this young man is just getting a pass? Does he got pictures on Roger Goodell? I mean, is it one big conspiracy? Is it a ruse, Sean? Is he having these women come out and make these complaints so he can get traded, as people will lead you to believe in our group that that's what's going down? Like, what is the explanation? What is the reason as to why it's such a slow go with DeShaun Watson? We have had all these other things overshadowing him. The Aaron Rodgers saga, right? Yeah. Pretty much everybody's over that, right? Either you're going to play or you're not going to play AR-12. GM's not going anywhere, so what is it that you're really going to do? I do believe he has the kind of personality and the temperament where he will sit out. Like, I think he's that guy that will do that. It's been said, it's been written, it's been reported how much of an a-hole he really is and how not well liked he really is, and he kind of shows that, but he's his own man. He's a grown-ass man. He can do what he wants, but I do believe he's the cat that will just be like, yo, I'll sit here in Wisconsin. I'll sit here in L.A. I don't got to play. You want to rock with Jordan Love? Go ahead. You know what I mean? But I also do believe if there's any type of success going on, he's the guy to arrive right back in and take it right back too. Don't let them start winning without him. Oh, I'm coming. I come back. That's who he is, man. What's up, Buck Flair? Houston is still not.
That's actually what I was gonna throw out there, is that Houston hasn't charged him with anything yet. And if there's anything that we learned about Roger Goodell, is that he's horrible when it comes to disciplinary and doing this properly. All that's across the board from Ray Rice to Ezekiel Elliott all the way down the line. Adrian Peterson, he's very bad at disciplinary, at shaping disciplinary, acts as a general, and knowing when to set them out and when not to set them out. So I think he's walking on eggshells with this one, because this is untapped waters for him, right? Like this, you've never seen. This is a situation that has never been seen in football before, and basically in sports before. You've never seen this many allegations come out at once on the same person ever in the history of sports. So you have to treat this very delicately, because God forbid all this is a lie and all of this is a ruse. Thank you. And all of this is a ruse, and all of it is like really just a lie for him to get out. And Goodell goes and suspends him, and then everything turns out to be false after he gets traded. Then one, you're making Houston look bad for trading him, and two, on top of that, Roger Goodell looks bad for suspending him. So I think it's a very, 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 a very, very small line he's stepping on here, where he's trying not to do the wrong thing again. And he's trying to do the right thing and wait for the prosecution to come down with a verdict before he makes anything out of it.
See, and I understand that, but I think we're also discussing two different things, right? There's a suspended list, and then there's the NFL commissioner's exempt list, okay? So typically, what has happened in the past, when you have something like this, you go on NFL commissioner's exempt list. Doesn't mean you're suspended. You're just exempt from participating in any activities and this and that. He did it to Antonio Brown. He's done it to other people that are repeat offenders with drug offenses, right? You can't tell me that this doesn't warrant that. Oh, he put Adrian Peterson on the NFL's exempt list for a whole year because he whipped his son with a branch, right? It doesn't matter whether this young man is guilty or anything at this point. It's the fact that you're letting this go, and what are you saying, right? Listen, you're right. He is navigating a minefield. He's not navigating it very well, and this is the problem that I've always had with him. And you just kind of put it on the head. There is no consistency in the way that he gives this out. I'm on record of saying, and I'll go on record again, that when you have an offense, it should be blanket, right? So what I mean is, if you get charged with a DUI or a DWI, it should be 2-game, 4-game suspension, right? Whatever you want to set it at, right? You get it. It shouldn't be a case-by-case basis, right? Because now this exempt policy is specifically for this situation right here, right? Because NFL didn't want to get into the policing business. Well, here we are. We're deep in the policing business, right? They didn't want to have to wait for somebody to be charged or not charged to dole out punishment. Like you said, it goes all the way back to the Ray Rice situation, because they messed that up. because Ray Rice was going to get 2 games. The video came out, then it went from 2 games to 4 games to suspended indefinitely. And the whole thing about that situation is they knew all the information. The videotape didn't show them anything that they already didn't know. And how did they know it? Because the player involved told them exactly what happened, the way that it went down. It's just that it was on video. Okay, Kareem Hunt on video, right? Commissioner's exempt list. Then he got 6 games, right? What about the dude from the Giants? I always bring this guy up, right? The kicker from the Giants, right? Remember, nothing happened to him. They had to have security over in the Pro Bowl to keep him from his wife. Dude's not even in the league. Now he got suspended indefinitely. Right?
Okay, but
so this is the, I mean, and it doesn't matter to me that it's Deshaun Watson, but it's just that this is who it's happening to. I can't take the name off the situation because it's his situation. I would love to be able just to say this situation, but it's him. So, and I'm not knocking Deshaun Watson. I'm not picking on him, but it's just I don't get it. And I've been saying this to you all summer, like this since this happened. Like, why is he not suspended? Why is he not at least put on the exempt list? And my main reason for asking you this rhetorical question is because the NFL has to get to a point to where they start giving out punishment that it becomes a deterrent. Nothing they do is a deterrent. Okay. So my point being, if you go ahead and put this young man on the exempt list and let it play out, there's nothing wrong with that. Put him on the exempt list and let this play out. That's fine. Then you're kind of sending a message. Why? Because he is one of the stars of the NFL. He is one of your best quarterbacks in the NFL. He is a big time, big name player. If what's to stop the next guy from engaging in this nefarious behavior, right? Like me and you, we're on the team, right? I'm the quarterback, you're the star running back. I'm out here getting in all kinds of shenanigans, but nothing's been proven yet. You're out here living your best life, and then you have a slip up, right? You're gonna be like, I'm good. You know why? My quarterback, he good. Nothing happened to him, so I can go out here. I can. Just one transgression, nothing gonna happen. So you know what? I'm feeling froggy. I'm gonna have another transgression, right? You see what I'm saying? Like it's always been this way, Sean. This isn't. I'm not putting this on Deshaun Watson's lap, but it's always been this way. And I keep saying this. It goes back to consistency with the penalties and teams. I never understand across these major sports leagues why teams always wait for the league to make the decision. Right? For me, I'm going to draw this down a little bit more. The teams need to take more responsibility for their players and start cutting them, fining them, and dealing out punishment as opposed to waiting for the league. Now, I know at the end of the day, dollars and cents come into play. I get it. But at some point, we're going to have to take the human element into this. Go ahead, bro.
So I got to ask, because I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to have you answer. I'm going to go right into what I got to say. What if you put him on the commissioner exempt list and he didn't do anything wrong?
Yeah, that's fine. But the point is, there are so many allegations. There are so many that I think he's trying to get a settlement out of court. He settled with 1 or 2, if I'm not mistaken. You have to do something. Are you going to let him play?
Okay, but that's not the question I asked. The question I asked you is if this is all found out to be false, right? Say down the line, say we're in the middle of football season. Houston is, let's just say Houston's 3-3. They're a 500 team. We're going on to Game 7 right now. They could possibly be, 5-1 with him playing, whatever it may be. Okay, but they're working with backups because he's on the commissioner exempt list and cannot play. So let's use that as a scenario right now. Okay. What if he's found that he did nothing wrong and all these women were lying? And you put him on the commissioner's exempt list. No, hold on. Put him on the commissioner's exempt list. Now you screwed Houston over for the first 6 games of the season because you rushed to a decision without the verdict being read.
Okay. So to answer that question,
you can't play judge, jury, and executioner.
You're not playing judge and jury. See, that's the difference between the exempt list and being suspended. See, there's 2 different things. he gets suspended if he's found guilty. He gets put on the exempt list for conduct detrimental to the league. Two different things, and that's what people have to understand. So yeah, he goes on the exempt list. The NFL is not screwing over Houston. He's screwing over Houston by bringing this mess to them.
So if he did nothing wrong, how's it his fault? If they're lying, then how's that his fault?
Because he put himself in that position to be brought up. 27 people, I doubt 27 people are lying, right? And if they are, then we know there's nefarious going on, that there's been some settlements or things like that. Human nature tells us this. But to answer your question the way it was proposed, he gets reinstated, he goes back in game 7 if he's ready to play, and you move on. Because what's the difference in suspending a player that wasn't charged, that wasn't guilty, and he got suspended for 6 games? What's the difference in that scenario to what you proposed?
There's a huge difference, because you're basically telling somebody you're telling somebody that they were wrong before they're getting proven wrong. So if somebody comes on here right now, right? Say John Smith comes on this show right now and says something about me that is completely false. Now my job thinks it's real, even though what he said is a complete lie. Now they're going to pull me aside and say, you cannot come to work for the next so-and-so amount of days until it's proven. How is that fair to me? I'm using that as the same example. Anybody can slander anybody's name and get put on the commissioner exempt list. You can get put in any situation, right, and be put on the commissioner exempt list and not get and still get paid, but not be able to help your team out, right? Because of somebody trying to slander your name that could be detrimental to the league, right?
Right.
How is that fair? And Buck Flair, I want to address this. I'm not saying he is innocent. I'm not saying he is guilty. I am not judge. I have not read the case. I know nothing. I don't know enough about it. I'm not going to sit here and say whether this man is innocent or not. That is not my job to say whether a man is innocent or not. Just like it is not Roger Goodell's job to dictate punishment on a man's livelihood until there's a verdict read. That's what I'm getting at. There needs to be a verdict read.
Okay. Being on the exempt list is not saying he's guilty. Being on the exempt list is doing your due diligence to find out if he is guilty or innocent. There's two different things. That's what I'm trying to say to you. If he were to suspend him based off this information without being innocent or proven guilty, then that's different than being on the exempt list. The exempt list allows the NFL to do their due diligence. He is damaging the shield. This whole situation is damaging to the shield. It is conduct detrimental to the league. It falls under the professional conduct. Just like you said about your coworker. If your coworker comes in and says you did something that you didn't do, suppose he accused you of stealing something on the job. There has to be an investigation, right? So you can't perform your duty until that investigation is completed. No, it's not fair to you when you know you didn't do it. But again, I ask you, we've seen it. We've seen a player get suspended who was not charged. We've seen a player who was suspended that was not guilty. We've seen a player suspended for all the information that the NFL did. Even their own investigator said he's innocent. So what do you mean? What do we do? What do we do if he's on the exempt list? I mean, we've seen a player suspended for 6 games for crying out loud.
Well, again, that's a Roger Goodell issue, right? That's something that I said at the beginning is that Roger Goodell has never been consistent with he's been doing this horribly the whole time. What I'm trying to say is that when I'm saying that a player is when I'm saying that going on the exempt list is basically being called guilty is because you're hurting that team, whatever the team may be, right? Say Dak Prescott gets put on the exempt list tomorrow for whatever that may be detrimental to the shield. He gets put on the exempt list tomorrow. And he, like I said, he can't play for a certain amount of time now because he's on that exempt list. But he's done nothing wrong. That's hurting the team. That's what it's doing. You're not just hurting one player. You're hurting an entire group of players that are all trying to work towards the same goal. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're trying to say it's making a guilty or whatnot verdict. I'm saying that when you take a player off of when you put a player on the exempt list, is that the exempt list is basically sitting there saying, okay, you cannot play, and you're going to hurt the rest of this team, even though you may be innocent, but we can't give you all that time back. At least
That's the way it goes. But in this situation, it's warranted. I mean, it's not the NFL doing anything. He put himself in this situation. I mean, you can't say that he didn't. You can't say that this right now is not warranted. There's no way in HE double hockey sticks that this is not warranted. This is exactly what the exempt list is for. This situation is exactly why we have the exempt list. And on top of that, the players gave the commissioner this authority to do this. So there's no way you can come back and cry later, right? Like they gave him the power in the CBA to be, as you said, the judge, the jury, and executioner. He is taking it one step further and it's like, okay, we can go with the exempt list until we get this figured out, right? Like we've seen guys go on the exempt list that have been repeat offenders for the drug test, right? But then they do an investigation, they find out their treatment plans and things like that. Like, do they have depression? You know, is there other outstanding factors as to why they failed the test, right? So you go through these channels, you go through this process, and then they're removed, right? Hey, Buck Flair, see, we were having a good time with you. Now you just want to cross the line.
I was gonna ignore the question completely. I don't know where he's from. I don't know who his teams are. I don't know enough about him.
He's in the Midwest. He's in the Midwest. I think he's a Bucks fan.
What does that mean?
But I think he's a Milwaukee Bucks fan. I think he's in Midwest. I think he's in Illinois, Indiana. I think he's a Milwaukee Bucks fan. I know he likes the Bucks. I know he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, but I think he cheers for the Milwaukee Bucks.
I'm looking at his profile pic. He's got Buccaneers. You got a Buccaneers John there, hanging up that all proud and mighty. Right. Hold on, I'm gonna figure it out. Don't let me find out your team's not in the playoff. Don't. No, you're coming on here talking about the Pacers. You're a Pacers fan? Stop it. You're gonna get blocked. How are you gonna talk trash? Your team is barely a playoff team. Stop it. Oh my God. You know what? Hey, look, I know what I figured it out. I get it. He's rooting for Atlanta Hawks because his coach is right there. Oh wait, they fired Nate McMillan. I forgot. Sorry, my fault.
What time's Nate McMillan play? He asked what time the game the Sixers play. He's a Pacer fan. Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to come on the show. Oh my God.
You gotta stay there saying you're a Pacers fan.
He's gonna get it.
You couldn't even get out the lottery.
You gonna get it. You know what, man? Buck Flair, we're gonna serve you real good, and this is how we're gonna do it. Hodge Podge Sports Show is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? So, that being said, Sean, I really do like where the point of view you came in on, like, you know, how is it fair when there's no process? But that's what I'm saying. That's what the exempt list is for. The exempt list is to go through the process. I just wanted to bring it up because it kind of felt like it was just kind of getting lost in the sauce, right? You know, like it was just getting kind of lost in the sauce about not what's happening to this guy, man. Who we got? We have anybody on the line? I think I hear Lou out there.
Lou's out there. Lou's out, and Danny's out there as well.
All right, so let me go to Danny because I think Danny's gonna have a good perspective on this. I hope he caught what we were saying. Danny, where you fall in on this the DeShaun Watson lack of action news, so to speak?
I kind of caught him late on the conversation. Can you remind me what you guys were talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about DeShaun Watson not being put on the NFL's exempt list to this point. Like nothing has happened as far as the NFL is concerned, and I have questions about that. Like I don't understand why he hasn't been put on the exempt list. Sean is taking the stance of you can't put him on the exempt list until all the facts are out and he's been proven innocent or guilty. I, on the other hand, is saying that the NFL exempt list is specifically for this reason. You put somebody on the exempt list, but you go through the due process because it's not about whether he's going to be suspended. It's about him basically having unprofessional conduct, which goes against NFL policy, goes against NFL guidelines. It's like anywhere you work, there's two different sets of standards, right? There's the rules and then there's the policies, right? But that's where we're at on it.
So yeah, it kind of gets weird it kind of reminds me, like I'm using Adrian Peterson as an example. He was throwing me consists before he was just with his child, right? Or was that after that?
I think it was after.
Yeah, it was after. And we're talking about Adrian Peterson, right? That's what you said, right?
Right. When he was
right.
When he hit his stick.
Exactly. And guess what happened? He got put on the NFL commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah. I mean, before everything was final, said and done, everything like that, he was suspended. He was suspended by the NFL, and then after like a couple of weeks, he was on the extension list, and he was on that for like a year. So I mean, I can understand. This is just like maybe one or two girls came forward, and that was it. But I mean, there's like 20 girls that come forward. So in my mind, with that severity of a situation, you got to put him on the exempt list until everything is figured out. Like, don't wait. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, see, and that was my thing, and that was the example I used as well. I think it's a great debate just on how that works. I mean, we all agree that the commissioner has just like really flubbed this up as best as you can with all punishments as it goes. Boo, what do you got?
He's too soft on it. I mean, Goodell has not been one of the great commissioners, probably on sports. I think he's just too soft on some of the players. He needs to crack down on the players who, commit ridiculous acts and whatnot. 2 to 4 weeks is not enough. It's got to be something more. Penalties need to be more severe on the players who commit crimes in that nature. No wonder why nobody likes Goodell. I don't either. That's another story. But they're too soft on athletes who commit stupid acts of crime or whatnot, or anything on or off the field. So something has to be done. Take more action, serious action against the players.
It'll be very interesting to see how they negotiate this new CBA going forward. If they're going to try to wrestle some of that power back away. And again, I'll say I said what I said earlier, and I'll say it again. Until teams really start getting involved in the punishment, we're going to continue to see this happen. Like, there's no deterrent for players getting in trouble. We all know talent trumps trouble, right? It's always that. There's nothing that we can do about that or say about that. It's always going to be that way. Talent is always going to trump trouble, no matter the trouble. Yep. All right, man. So as we proceed to give you what you need, this is the fun part of the show, and this is probably going to do it right here, boy. So we have the NBA playoffs going on, and we have 2 teams that lost Game 7s on their home court, right? The 2 best teams that we thought were in the Eastern Conference. We have Brooklyn go down, Milwaukee. And we had the Sixers just implode against the Hawks. And we thought we were going to get that matchup. We thought we were going to get Brooklyn versus Philly. We didn't get it. And it kind of begs the question if that's something that we're ever going to see. Now we got the West dueling, right? And I think when we talked a couple of weeks ago, we were all on the Phoenix train, except for myself. I wasn't knocking Phoenix. I was just going with Utah because I thought Utah had an easier path. And that was me coming out of my comfort zone with Utah because I never liked Utah going to the finals. I actually thought that Clippers would get there with the experience and everything. But I thought once LA was out, the Lakers were out, and then the other squad, I thought Utah had it. Like when Phoenix advanced, I thought, man, Denver's gone. which we really weren't too concerned about them. We knew Denver and Dallas weren't going to do much. Portland, not really. But watching these games, man, and just how they were able to go up 2-0 without CP3 speaks volumes for Phoenix, right? It speaks volumes for how well they've played this year, how well coached they are, and to win the game that they won last night. It was just a physical, ugly slugfest. They're up 3-1. They're not losing 3 games in a row.
No.
Kawhi's done. I don't even know why they keep giving us reports like he's out this game. Dude, his knee's torn. Once they get eliminated, we'll hear, he's gonna have reconstructive surgery.
Also I don't need to see. I don't need to see them pan to Kawhi Leonard to show me his reaction. I know what his reaction is. It's the same after everything. He's boring. He's a boring individual. He does not have fun. His face is the same. He doesn't ever change. I don't pan to him, please. Just let's see him play in action right now. He's choking like he always does with that 5 for 20 night he had the other night. He's doing his normal playoff type stuff. That's what he always does. And also, I want to chime in and say, no, we all did not think the Sixers were going to play the Nets. I said the Sixers were going to play the Bucks, and I was right about half of my prediction for the Eastern Conference Finals. For the start, I said the Nets weren't good enough.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. For the record, I had the Bucks and the Sixers in the finals.
Listen. Go back and check the tape. All I'm saying, check the tape.
Listen, no one's saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. So it is what it is. Regardless, we're not there. And what took me back is how everyone wanted to blame Ben Simmons or they wanted to blame Doc Rivers. And I watched all 7 games. And I don't understand, especially in Game 7, how we were talking about all year about how Joel Embiid is the MVP. He's the best center in the game. But yet it seems like all the Philly fans want to give him a pass for his performance in Game 7. How does that happen? Because it's easier to get on the guy that has done what he's always done. So that's what I guess that's what I gotta ask. And I gotta ask the Philly people that are in Philly. Because I'm a Sixers fan, but I don't live there. So I really gotta understand what were you expecting Ben Simmons to do? This is what he's done every year he's been in the league. This is not new. Now, the only thing that really upset me, and I told you this, me and you typed this at the same time, he's got to dunk that basketball on that one play, right? But at the end of the day, our center had 8 turnovers. He had 8 turnovers. He had costly turnovers at the end of the game. And then he has the audacity to say in his post-game, the turning point of the game was when we had an open shot and we passed it and we only got 1 point. Okay?
Wasn't wrong.
Now, I'm bringing this up. He is wrong because right after that, they still had a chance. And guess what? He missed the shot. He had a turnover. He is wrong. So my point is this.
Not what happened. That's not what happened. You're missing a huge part of what happened.
When he came down, hit a 3.
Trae Young hit a 3, made it a 4-point game.
Hit a 3. We come back down and B misses the shot, and then he turns the ball over. Yes, because they threw the ball down. My man got the dunk, right? And he got the and 1. Remember that? Yeah, come on now.
Yeah,
listen, the point I'm saying is this, right? What can I do? What can I do? I can't put Game 7 on one play.
I'm putting Game 7. No. I'm not Game 7 on. I'm
shot. Okay.
It turned the game.
But Thibault makes 1 or 2. It's a 1-point game at that point. That is not the turning point of the game. There were still two minutes left at least in the game. How is that the turning point?
You're telling me 1 point versus tie games out of a completely different game. Your mindset on how you play isn't different.
Why? How should it be? How should it be different? You get a stop, you score, you go ahead. How should it be different? If it's a tie game, you get a stop, you go ahead.
But Trae Young scored the 3 off the missed free throw. He scored the 3
off the free throw. I understand that, but that is not the turning point of the game. If you're telling me that the guy making one of two free throws as a turning point in the game, then you shouldn't be on the court. Are you kidding me right now? You had plenty of time to come back from a 4-point game. You missed a shot. You turned the ball over. You didn't help your team get back in the game. But listen, okay, so listen. What was it, Game 5? Game 5? 10, 11 seconds left. Who missed the layup? Who missed the layup with 10 seconds left in the game in Atlanta? Who missed the layup? It wasn't Ben Simmons. It wasn't Ben Simmons. This is my point. This is the point I'm trying to make. You can't be criticizing your teammates on situations like that when you're not at fault. That's all I'm saying. And I'm leading up to this, right? And I think if I haven't told you, this is what I'm gonna tell you right now. This is why I think Ben Simmons, like you asked me, has played his last game in Philly. Anytime that you have you fail, because they all fail. They collectively fail, right? They all fail. Can't put it on one player. Everybody has to share the blame, right? Nobody gets more blame than the other person. They all failed. But when your head coach comes out and immediately says, I can't answer the question, when you ask him if he's the point guard of a championship team, he says he can't answer the question. Now, maybe that's true, but that's not what you say, right? And then your center, your star player, says that comment right then and there. Sean, if it's you, how do you even want to come back? Like, how do you even want to come back? So, and I said this to you, and I promise you, because I know you're going to go with this. I said this to you before, and this is where I'm going to end it with this right here. I think that the Sixers have to decide whether he's the point guard or he's the 4, because he is who he is. You haven't held this man accountable for 4 years. You haven't made him work on a jump shot. You haven't forced him to shoot the ball in the fourth quarter. You haven't made him try to get better. You have a responsibility to monitor that. It is ultimately up to him to improve. Absolutely. He shoulders a lot of that blame for not shooting the ball, not improving his offensive game, not being a viable piece to help his team get over the hump. If you have that deficiency, which you know you have, it's been 4 years and you haven't improved it or even attempted to, like, here's what I say. People say he can't shoot. We don't know if he can shoot. You know why we don't know? Because he won't shoot. And if the stories are true, Sean, you tell me. If the stories are true about him not shooting because he's afraid how he's going to look when he shoots, well, then he's got to go. Like, seriously. Like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? I mean,
do you need to see the stories? You just got to watch the games and see it, man. He's petrified. He's scared to death to shoot the ball. He's afraid to go to the free throw line. He's afraid of it. A player that's not afraid to go to the free throw line flushes that ball and takes the N1 at the end of that game that we're just talking about. A player that's not afraid just flushes it and goes to the free throw line for the N1. Plain and simple. And if you miss the N1, whatever, at least you flushed it, right? At least you got those 2 points. You got the player a foul. And that's the point we're trying to make. And I don't know who this is because it's just a Facebook user, but 33% from the line is completely unacceptable for a point guard. You're not a center. You're a point guard. You're supposed to be able – give me at least 70% from the line, right? Let's start there. Give me 70% of the line, okay, from the line. That's all I'm asking. But you have to drive the ball consistently, right? You have to want to drive the ball. You have to. If you're not going to shoot, I said it with you from the jump, that if he is not going to shoot the ball, he needs to be attacking the bucket and going to the line on a regular basis. And he is not doing that. He's completely afraid. And I told you this before. Also, if you watch him when he dribbles the ball up, when he gets to half court, his shoulder turns. He turns his shoulder to the basket and dribbles the ball away towards the other basket. So this way he is sideways looking at one side of the court. So this way he is never a threat to actually square up and shoot the ball. Listen, I have been Ben Simmons' defender for a very long time. He is my favorite player. He's the background on my phone there. I love him. But he can't play here anymore. He is worn his welcome out in Philadelphia. And for anybody that's going to say what's up? No,
I don't disagree. Go ahead.
We completely. He's worn his. And if anybody tries to say the fans did whatever, the fans have never been more supportive of a player that didn't deserve our support. And all my entire life as a Philadelphia fan, we're cheering for this man non-stop. when he's at the free throw line, when he's dribbling the ball up. We've never been more supportive of a player that doesn't deserve it. Now, I did break off a little piece of knowledge to you a couple months ago about what I think is going on in Ben Simmons' head right now, right? And I want to touch on this a little bit because the person that it's related to was his quote unquote, I'm gonna say this, his quote unquote shooting coach, right? Which was also a mistake. The 76ers should have nipped that in the bud from the beginning and said, no, your brother is not your shooting coach. But that is another another path that we'll go down eventually. But allegedly, I'm going to say this term of allegedly. Everybody knows his sister's name is Liv. She's on Twitter. She's very active on Twitter. She's not as bad as Anna Horford was on Twitter, but she's right there with her. But Liv was very vocal on Twitter saying that her brother sexually molested her as a child. Her brother being Sean, Ben Simmons' brother. Now, everybody that doesn't know this is Sean and Ben are not 100% blood brothers. They're half brothers. Same mom, different dad. I believe I got that right. Yeah, and Liv is Ben's full sister. So what they're saying, what Liv is insinuating, is that she was sexually molested by Sean, and that came out in the middle of the year. I remember I talked about it on these airwaves with Patrick because he was also unaware of this, and I think that hit him on a different psychological level. I think he's been having that run through his mind along with all the other stuff of letting people down. I think this kid is just so afraid of being bad that he'll do anything he can to make sure that he doesn't have to show his inefficiencies in the game. And what the problem is, they're easy to your inefficiencies are easy to expose. Now, I'm not going to blame one person for the Sixers losing, right? I don't think I've even got to talk about it on these airwaves yet, but I have a list, right? I'm like Eminem. Here, I got a list. Here's my list in the orders you see. I got Ben Simmons is one. Because I don't give a crap what your psyche is. You got to give me your line, right? If you're averaging 13 in the regular season, you got to at least give me 10 in the playoffs, right? I think that's fair. You got to give me at least 10 a game in the playoffs. You didn't attempt a single field goal in the fourth quarter for games 5, 6, and 7. That's embarrassing. In the entire series in Atlanta, you went 3 for 3. You shot three shots the entire fourth quarter in all the fourth quarters of the entire series. That's embarrassing. You shot 33% from the free throw line. Also embarrassing. Now, this is where the second blame comes in. Doc Rivers, step right on up, buddy, because you're blame number 2. Why in God's name, when you know he can't shoot a free throw, are you leaving him in from the 4-minute mark to the 2-minute mark? Take him the hell out. Put literally anybody in. Put fucking Dwight Howard in. Excuse my language there. But put Dwight Howard in at least. Give me somebody else. Anybody else. Didn't matter who it was. Go call up Patrick Hodge in Baltimore. Tell him to come up and shoot some free throws. I don't care who it is. Anybody else would have been fine. But you continuously let this man in and continuously watched him miss. And then you said after, I think it was game 5 or game 4. Either game 5 or game 4, you came out and said, well, he made one shot and we got 1 point in that possession, so I thought it was a good possession. What? Doesn't even make sense. He missed consecutive free throws, but because he was making 1 of 1, it was okay. So that and plus you had too many times where you see right now in the middle of the playoffs, these good coaches, and I've said this from the jump that I think Doc Rivers is a very overrated coach. I said I didn't want him last year, but I'm stuck with him. So it is what it is. That these good coaches shrink their benches. Good coaches shrink their benches. They don't run 10, 11 deep. Well, game 7, Doc Rivers ran 10 deep. Ran his bench 10 deep. He played a guy that didn't play the whole entire game. He had him start in the fourth quarter. No, game 7, the winner go home situation. Let's have Shake Milton, who hasn't played the whole game, start the fourth quarter. That makes sense. That's what a good coach would do. How about this? Let's have an entire unit on the floor that's just our bench players in the playoffs for game 7. That makes sense, right? It's a good idea. Where our bench has been producing pretty well. Oh, wait, they haven't. There's that. So Ben Simmons Doc Rivers is number 2. Want me to go to number 3? Why not? Let's go to Tobias Harris, Mr. 8 for 24 in a game 7. Mr. I didn't shoot the ball at all in a game 6. I'm sorry, game 5, and you didn't shoot it at all. So I'm not going to sit here and kill Embiid because I'm not going to do it. I can't do it when he's averaging over 30 points a game. What I am going to do is what I set up, what I put on Facebook, and what I will continue to say is I can't call him an MVP when he disappeared in the fourth quarter too many games. That's what I can do.
So
I can't sit here
and make Ben Simmons 1, Doc Rivers 2, but I'm not gonna criticize Embiid. That makes sense.
I didn't say don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say I was going to criticize him. I said I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to get on him as bad as I got on. I'm not going to kill him like I am Ben Simmons and Doc Rivers. I'm not going to do that.
Why? He gets more. He gets more. That's what I don't understand. Why is he going to pass? Why is he down?
How's he going to pass?
Put that down on your list.
But by me saying that I can't sit here and chant MVP for him. If I'm sitting here and I'm saying I can't chant MVP for him not showing up in the fourth quarter of games, but he's still giving me 30-plus points a game and 10 rebounds.
Okay.
What more when he's by himself? Tell me a player.
He missed all his shots in the fourth quarter of the game. How are you not criticizing him? Like, I don't understand that. He missed the game. He missed the potential game-winning layup. He had 8 turnovers in game 7.
He wouldn't have to. He wouldn't have gotten to that situation. It wouldn't have gotten to that situation if Ben Simmons gave you his line. If Ben Simmons gives you his line, you don't have to worry about that situation, right? How about this? If Tobias Harris gives you his line, you don't have to worry about that. If you're not playing a game with Curry and
okay. All right. So my man's doing everything else that he can do, right? He's still playing. He's still giving you high quality defense. He's giving you rebounds. He's giving you assists. He's not scoring, which he doesn't do. But I understand your point about not getting his average, right? You still got to get your average. But I'm gonna pile on Ben Simmons to take criticism off my best player, and then I'm gonna go to my coach who coached my team to the number 1 seed by playing 10, 11 players. But now I'm gonna criticize that because he didn't shrink his bench in the playoffs. Okay, so I'm not going to hold the players at fault for blowing a 3-1 lead when they had leads of over 20-some points in those games. I'm going to blame the coach because we went 10-11 deep. I'm not going to hold my MVP caliber player accountable like I'm holding everybody else. I'm going to say Tobias Harris. I'm going to say Ben Simmons. I'm going to say the coach before I go to my best player. Okay, yeah, that checks out. No, it doesn't check out. So,
but it does. There's a pecking order.
It doesn't check out at all.
If
you're the best player on your team, you don't have 8 turnovers in a game 7. You don't miss all your shots in the fourth quarter, and you don't miss a layup to win a game.
Okay, so Embiid. Okay, so they lost the series because Joel Embiid played bad. That's
no,
what we're
I'm not saying that.
You're saying that he deserves.
What I'm saying is, no. Now you're trying to put words in my mouth. What I'm saying to you is that they're all at fault. That's what I said from the beginning. That's what I'm going to continue to say. You can't put one over the other. They're all to blame. And I said to you, I don't understand why Joel Embiid is getting a pass, and here you are basically giving him a pass, even though you're going to say. That's not what I said. That's essentially what you're saying. Well, I'm going to make him like the 5th option down as to why they lost the series. I'm going to point to Ben Simmons. I'm going to point to the coach. Then I'm going to point to this, and that before I get to Joe. I'm not going to kill him because, he gave me what he gave me. But what I will say is that I can't call him the MVP. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I do know this. All right. I give the Hawks their credit because they came in. They never gave up, right? And you and I talked about that. They never gave up in any of those games, and they're just as much as responsible for us sitting here not playing tonight as what we didn't do, right? But I want to ask you this question because I don't think you ever answered it to me privately or here. If he does stay, let's just talk about if he does stay, which is really remote, right? What do? Do you continue to have him at the point, or do you put him at the 4 and then you bring somebody in to run the point? Like, what do you do? Because to me, Sean, I think that's the question they got to ask themselves, right? Like, because I'll say this to you, right? And you say this to me about a lot of other players, so you're going to appreciate this across all sports. If they trade this guy, he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to flourish because they're going to use him in the correct way. He's going to go to a team. He's going to go to a team to where he doesn't have to put the ball in the hole. He's going to be able to do what he does well, right? Run, defend, rebound, kick it out. He's still going to have to get a shot at some point, though, to be viable. I mean, to be the superstar, he's going to have to try to at least develop a shot, right? But in the event that he does stay, because I don't think you're getting much. Remember I said that to you, like he's got to go. They can tell me all day long his trade value's high. Listen, it's me and you sitting in our respective homes talking about the deficiency he has. There's a lot smarter people out there that do this for a living than to see that, right? So what? Like I just don't think he's bringing you a big name back. Like I don't think he's bringing you Dame. I don't think he's getting you Bill. He could have got you Levine. Remember, all year long I kept saying, I want Levine, I want Levine, I want Levine. And you were telling me, yeah, and then you broke it down to me how we couldn't afford him. I mean, I remember that conversation was like yesterday. So now it's like, so now you got to who you want. If you go, Sean, well, I know who you want, but like you're realistic looking like Brogdon or TJ Warren coming right from Indiana, right? You're looking at Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, and the pick coming from Sacramento, right? So those are the kind of deals that you're looking at getting. Do you want to give up Ben Simmons to Portland to bring back CJ McCollum? I mean, really, is that what you want to do? Like, I'm just asking the question. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm happy you brought up the money aspect of it because that's the first thing I was going to say is that Ben Simmons' max contract starts this year. So for Ben Simmons to be traded, you need to trade him for a player that's equal to that contract or players equal to that contract. The NBA is unlike other sports where the contracts have to match. You can't just do salary dumps like you can in baseball and football. In basketball, contracts have to match because everybody has the same salary cap and everybody essentially, realistically, NBA players, it's very easy to be an agent in the NFL, in the NBA. I honestly don't believe that you really need an agent in the NBA because you can see what your market value is based off of other players. You don't need an agent if you're the NBA. You don't. If you're one of the best players in the league, you're getting a max contract. If you made an all-defensive team, guess what? You're getting a supermax. Or an all NBA team, you're getting a supermax. It's very simple to figure out money in the NBA and NBA contracts because they're broken down very simplistic. So if we're gonna make a want list, I mean, I want Damian Lillard, I want Zach LaVine, I want Bradley Beal, but let's be realistic here. We're not going to get any of those players, not because the money isn't going to match, but because you're asking a team to take on a player with deficiencies for a player that may not have as many deficiencies. Now, the saving grace here is this. You want Damian Lillard to come out and openly say he wants to leave Portland. Because if that happens, that opens up a door, right? You want Bradley Beal to kind of do the same thing in Washington, right? Because that opens up 2 doors then, right? Zach LaVine, I don't see that one really happening. That's going to be very, very tough because that means Chicago's breaking down again. That means they're restarting again. And that's what, the third time in 15 years they're going to restarting their entire franchise. And it's not a true. I don't know if they want to do that for a third time. I don't think, like I said earlier, I don't think there is a way Ben Simmons can stay and play another game in Philadelphia. But in the same breath, I'm not naive enough to believe that it's going to be easy to trade him. So I don't know.
Well, they're looking for a trade.
Yeah, but Lou, they can look all they want. I mean, I can look for a bag of donuts and I'm going to find them. I mean, you can look all you want. It doesn't mean you're going to find them. No, see, Patrick, I disagree. I disagree. I think they are looking right now. I think they are looking right now.
They are.
I'm gonna say this. They got their they got their toesies in the water right now. They're seeing how the water feels. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, we know how
this
it goes. We know how it goes. We know when you come out and officially say they're not trading them, you're trading them. We know how it goes.
So here's the thing: is like,
but he hasn't asked for a trade. They're not looking to trade them. But then yet you get the report tonight that I think I shared that Sacramento might be willing to offer up what I told you, Hield, Bagley, and the number 9 pick.
So that but you'd be that was dumb. You'd be giving up a lot. Actually, Buddy Hield would be a nice fit along with Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley, you would have to hope you could turn him into something because he hasn't been much in the NBA so far. And that pick, that all-important pick, you'd have to slam dunk it kind of like you did Tyrese Maxey. But so here's my other thing is like you're saying moving him to the 4. The 4 that he plays doesn't exist anymore. If you're a 4 in the NBA now, you need to be able to shoot. And since he doesn't shoot the ball, you can't move him to the 4. It's as simple as that. Now, Grant, I'm not saying
I'm about disagreeing.
You know what I mean? But the difference, he has the body and the temperament to be a Draymond Green, right? He plays great defense. He can rebound. He can pass the ball. But the difference between him and Draymond is Draymond. I don't just say can shoot. Draymond will shoot, right?
See, and that's my thing. I'm gonna keep saying it, right? I'm not gonna say this man can't shoot because we honestly don't know if he can shoot or not. Because he won't shoot the ball until he shoots the ball. We have to just go with he won't shoot. Like that's the proper term. He won't shoot. Right now, he can't shoot a free throw. Okay, fine. He can't shoot a free throw. He's not the only NBA player that can't hit a free throw. That's fine. But that's something that's easily correctable. That's something that you can bring up to a serviceable level, right? I mean, hell, LeBron James couldn't hit a free throw to save his life in the first game in the league, right?
No, I think that's the problem. I think he's right-handed.
He is. Now he's talking about switching shooting hands. Here's the thing, right? Everybody's not meant to play everywhere, right? And we've talked about this a lot of times about a lot of different places. Philly's a tough place to play, especially for basketball, right? And I think that for his sake, if they care about this man, which they seem to do because they've babbled him and coddled him for 4 years, they've got to move him to a situation where he can thrive, where he can get into well, listen, they just don't have much to give, but Pop would give anything up for him to take him, and that's been said by
that's all I want.
So I think what you're going to see.
Give me Murray. I'll give you Ben Simmons. Hell, I'll throw in Shake Milton for a screener.
I think this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a trade, and it's going to be a 3-team trade, and I think you're going to see the Sixers get exactly what they think they want for Ben Simmons at the end of the day. I think if they do the trade with Sacramento, which I'm not really a big fan of at this point, you'll see them move Bagley and the 9 pick for another star, right? Hindsight's 2020. Right? We all know.
Another interesting thing too is that Kyle Lowry is a free agent this year, and he expressed some interest last year, wanting to come play here to get traded here. Yeah. And that didn't happen. So I think that if you do trade Ben Simmons and you're looking for a legitimate veteran point guard that can run your team, because once you get rid of Ben Simmons, once you trade Ben Simmons and you shred that Danny Green contract that'll be shredded here, you're gonna have 2 choices in next season to keep this team as close to what it was. It's gonna be either sign Kyle Lowry as an immediate fix there, or Tyrese Maxey gets inserted in the starting lineup and you re-sign Danny Green for another year. If they re-sign Danny Green, I'm cool with it. I like Danny Green a lot on this team. I would be completely okay with them re-signing him. But I don't know at $10 million if I want to re-sign him.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. I don't know if he's going to get that big money, but he's coming back. And I'm telling you right now, he was a big missing piece. Because
you didn't realize it's funny. I said it all year how important he was to that team's defense. And as soon as he was gone, my boy Kevin started hitting me up, saying, "Man, this team, I've been saying it all year. He's the unsung hero of this team. You don't ask him to play on the best defender. He has active hands. He shoots that 3 well when you need him to. He's a good team player. He's a glue guy."
No guy told me. I was big. I was big on that signing. So, but Kevin, not so much. So that's kind of funny that he hit you up about that. He was like, I don't. He's not going to do anything. What did he ever do? It wasn't like he was a big part of those championship teams. I'm like, man, you need to go back and watch that man's tape. Especially San Antonio.
He was huge in Toronto.
He was
he's one of the main reasons they beat us.
Yeah. Yes, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's good stuff right there. I think we'll get out of here on that note. But I know this will be an ongoing discussion for sure as we continue to talk about it. But it's going to be really interesting. But I was going to say something to you about Toronto because I did see something out there where there is some like under the radar talk where Ben could go to Toronto and it would bring back Pascal Siakam because he's unhappy in Toronto and Toronto's unhappy with him.
Hey, man, before we get out of here, I want you to not be mad at me, but I opened up free conference call and never hit record.
It's okay. It happens. It happens to the best of us. That's why we get a redo next week. Since that's the case, man. Since that's the case, we don't have to worry about the outro.
I was just looking at it and I scrolled down. I was like, ooh, I got to hit record. Oopsie.
You know what? It's so funny because I meant to tell you when you open it up to hit it. But that's cool, though. All right, everybody. We hope all you guys out there had a great holiday weekend last weekend. Hope you're all staying safe in the summer. We will be back next Sunday, 9 o'clock. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We're out of here.
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks. They must be up.